Yeah, I'd like to order the meeting of the Newburyport School Committee for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. Mrs. Kennedy, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Holiday.
Present.
Right, Mr. Callahan.
Here.
Mr. Menon.
Present.
Mr. Hawkeizer.
Here.
Ms. Spalding.
Here.
Mr. Reardon.
Here.
Mr. Cole.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Please stand and say pledge of allegiance. I'll turn the order to Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, Mayor. Everybody at home, so throngs in the room. I hope that everybody can hear us better tonight. We're on mics. Hopefully the call says yes, it's grand back there. That's awesome. We're going to do public comment, and I'm going to see if anybody at home will let do public comment first. Second, I'm going to read our disclaimer. We come to the part of the public meeting where the school committee invites members of the public on public comment. If you're remote, we ask that you raise your hand in the Zoom. You will be called on in order after the speakers in person speak. I'm actually going to call the people at home first. Welcome. We can ask all speakers to respect the following guidelines. You will be given 2 minutes to present your comments. Improper conduct and remarks will not be allowed. Speakers may offer objective criticism of the school operations and programs as concern them, but the committee will not hear personal complaints of school personnel or those of any member of the members. We expect and encourage civility. Any remarks that are defamatory and abusive are always considered out of order, and the chairperson may terminate an individual's privilege of address on that basis. Additionally, we request that the names of any identifying information violate any student's privacy or offer as part of the comments. Public comments are important to the committee and are welcome. Comments longer than 2 minutes may be submitted to the district office writing for inclusion in the minutes. Is there anybody at home who wishes to speak? Please raise your hand now. And seeing none, living in the room would like to public comments. No public comment? All right. Oh, yes. Okay. All right, I'm just going to bring you the wireless mic and then give me 1 second to make the camera focus on you, and we can over this. And just over here, speak loudly in the mic so you can address all that. But just give me a second to make sure you're on focus. Okay.
My name is Ralph Orlando. I live at 4 William Hall Drive in Newburyport, Massachusetts. I'd like to make a brief comment. I'd like to make one brief comment about the conduct of the meeting. There are about 3 or 4 of you who remember who I am at the school committee meetings. I'd say for about 10 consecutive years, I attended mostly all of the meetings. At that time, the meetings were held a little differently. And there came a point in time about 6 years ago when the meetings were changed to 6:30. And the 2 periods of public comment were changed to 1. It used to be that in the middle of the school committee meeting, after some agenda items might have been presented, that public comment was solicited so that people in the audience could relate to some of the current topics of discussion. I commuted from Boston, so 6:30 was an impossibility, so I sort of dropped out. I'm now retired, and I probably will be sitting in this room quite frequently. That being said, I would ask the committee, as I know there's a communication subcommittee, to really consider again the institution of a public comment somewhere down after the beginning of the meeting, so that people might be able to offer you their opinions on those topics. For example, I look here, there's something about face coverings. I'm sure that might generate some concern. And it would be nice that if people knew that they could come here or from home offer their comments on something that you're going to leave and deliberate upon when you close the meeting. So again, two things, 7 o'clock's a good time, gives everybody opportunity to come. I strongly consider the institution of a second public comment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to offer public comment? Seeing none, we're going to close this. It'll be back and forth, back and forth. And maybe 2 seconds. Okay. We are now at our consent agenda. Mr. Cole, is there a consent agenda?
Yes, we have 3 warrants tonight. The first warrant, I move that the following main bills of the Newburyport Public Schools amounting to the aggregate $2,542.45 be approved and forwarded to the city auditor for payment. There are no conflicts.
Second. All those in favor? Will you mind those?
So they're all separate amounts.
If we can try, Mr. Little Hill here. Mr. Little Hill, we can, just for trying out next time, we can have like one cover sheet with the total single amount of all the combined. Then we'll do it in one vote. Okay.
I'll put together a template for next time.
Okay, great, thank you. So, I think we talked about the 1 point game, and I'll go.
I just have a question regarding that. Since it involves a number of different accounts, and it also involves having 4 school committee members sign, it's still possible to group those lines together?
Yes,
Okay,
you put under the consent agenda, list them all together, there's no conflicts for all 3 members at the same time.
okay, I see. All right, thank you. Okay, so the second warrant tonight, I move that the following main bills of the Newburyport Public Schools amounting in the aggregate $36,232.24 be approved and forwarded to the city auditor for payment. There are no conflicts.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. And the final warrant, I move that the following main bills of the Newburyport Public Schools amounting in the aggregate $295,812.41 be approved and forwarded to the city auditor for payment. There are no conflicts.
Sorry, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
We have minutes. Anyone want? Oh, my God.
Actually, we do have some finance subcommittee meetings, but that's the next. Is after,
All right, and we have minutes from the June 21st meeting. We'll do approve those minutes. Someone. Second. Is there any discussion on the minutes from June 22nd? I'm not sorry, June 21st. June 21st. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from June 21st, 2021? Aye. Mayor was not. Okay, the next agenda item is from the policy subcommittee. I believe.
Yes, the first reason for the tax covered policy as recommended by our measure advisory team and in support of the plan that we passed in our last meeting. Are there any comments on that? This draft will be included in the pack.
Anybody else have any comments? Any comments? I think it's like the motion.
not only, what we hope to accomplish, but what the limitations are, what we're going to do. So, I think it's kind of
This is the first reading, and we did not have possible votes, so I think we can hold off on voting in full for the next meeting. Just to keep protocol, everybody all right with that?
Just wanted to ask a question because when you read policy, there is stand over time. This is a policy that we will be short-lived. Want to make it this prescriptive, or should we give a little more? Like for example, like everything's fine, until we get to the lesson. And what we did in policy in October, using late policy in effect, it should be evaluated on a monthly basis until we send it or something affordable, as opposed to every month in October.
I think this one is simply with the states, and we're gonna, on that October, and then we got.
But well, I understand that, but if there is not a guidelines that extends, and we extend it, so I'm just thinking maybe,
Okay.
and then what if we fine for 6 months, and then all of a sudden we have the fourth or whatever.
For clarification, we would say that we will revisit this in October and then every month thereafter.
So that it could be numerous. Again, if we unfortunately have another that would have felt
Right.
land or view.
You can do that. And, for the record, the language came from Mass and our.
It's more flexible in terms of up or down. Yeah.
should we must.
We should probably say COVID because and then or other pandemic cases.
Are there any other comments? Now, to number 5, the finance subcommittee minutes of August 26th.
Sure, these minutes are in your packet. We had the opportunity to review them. Pretty straightforward. Are there any questions?
Do we have any questions about the charter?
So, this is not so much. So the fundraising that we are next. Finance meeting, we got
Yes. Question about the fundraising.
The fundraising policy actually should be brought up in August. All of the policy meetings, we talk about calendar. I think we should do it after the year. This will be every month.
Okay, any more comments or questions about that? 7 minutes of that meeting?
No, didn't want to make a motion to approve
Oh,
those?
yeah, picture? I was quite worried. I'll get it there. Actually, yeah,
So then
can
we'll
we check the
receive and file.
Yeah, accept.
So that we're accepting.
I think motion to accept and then.
Mr. Little, do you have a comment about that?
I was just gonna say, you're correct, that the subcommittee minutes will be reviewed and approved by the subcommittee the next time it meets.
So next time.
Yes.
Yes, that is all for the finance subcommittee type C. And next, agenda item number 6, we have Mr. Keith Eddings with his student newspaper proposal. This clarifies the school committee won't be voting on anything about this proposal. It's just a chance for Mr. Eddings to show the district an opportunity.
The motion to approve those minutes.
To receive and file.
Receive and file the minutes from the finance committee.
First, thank you for the opportunity to go back and for the explanation of what I was doing with Newburyport schools. I do have some notes, of course. I got here to make sure I cover all the bases. Should take about 2 minutes to get through them, 3 minutes. But I want to start by just saying that I think each of you has a sheet of email to me explaining the proposal. And at the very top of it, I said I think that my experience has shown that in most, I think, newspapers have seen as something that only high school students can do. But my experience has been very different. Middle schoolers, I mean, elementary school students get these newspapers, they just need a little bit more support. That would obviously, we're all on the proposal that I've got you all. And when we do get that support and they publish their own papers, a lot happens. On a very small micro basis, we build on what students are learning in class. And I think in the last newspaper, for example, you saw that I handed out a copy of it that I produced in one of the schools. There's a book, a student wrote about a book that she was reading in her class. But at a very small level, we support teachers and their curriculum and what they're doing in classroom. But on a larger, more macro level, we have schools that I think accomplish their greater mission. And I think in the principal, Tara Ross, is going through the webpage for your school. She said that this stage for home was to our goals were to help students develop critical thinking, to work cooperatively and build a community. And they very obviously student newspapers do every one of those things. It's very efficient. We work with students to develop critical thinking by helping them develop basic skills. For example, just like doing an interview, go back and forth. You have to understand what you're being told, and you have to respond to follow-up questions. You have to evaluate what you're being told. You have to prioritize what's the most important thing about what you're being told. And go back and write about it. Certainly, student newspapers help schools build communities. It's a bonding element in any school at any level. And they're also working to cooperate, get students to work cooperatively together. These are new seats that we assemble. Newspapers are cooperative efforts. Student newspapers, I think, are most successful when they are of, by, for the student. And how do we accomplish that? If I could, I'd like to hand out another student newspaper that I published in another district in New York. And I think, students, you have to involve them at every level of the enterprise. And we do that, for example, in this example with the RBS News. RBS News, they chose the name of the news, even chose the name of the newspaper on their own. RBS is the Newburyport School. They develop their own story ideas. At this level, at the lower levels, we keep it very simple to ensure success. So, for example, a Q&A, you see there are a couple of Q&As here, one with the school principal, another with a teacher of the year who they chose, they selected on their own. Q&As don't require a lot of writing. They're just, you get students together, you ask questions in the classroom, and we discuss what are the questions we want to ask. And very little editing or writing is required here. So at the lower level, third grade, I think was we can first introduce this. You guarantee their success by keeping the assignment simple. We'll see in another example, students told other students about what they like in the cafeteria. Another way you get students engaged, you give them ownership of this, is you get their names and their photos in this paper, in these papers as many times as possible. I even do things like enlarge the byline, you have to buy so-and-so. The bylines here almost as large as the headlines, just because it really emphasizes each individual student that they were part of this effort. And you can see their own name in print. We do a lot of photos of the students themselves going around the school and doing their work. There's a lot of kids holding pads and pencils. As they go around school doing interviews. I don't know if you want to get here, but in terms of how we would structure this, I could do this as an after-school program as I've done, or as an in-school program. What you see here was an after-school program, sort of a student club. I'd rather do it in school for a lot of reasons. One, it's easier to build up curriculum when you work with a teacher in a classroom. That's where we want to structure this, so that, for example, students who do book reports, we can also mold those into something that could be published in the student newspaper when they do book reports in classrooms. So it's easier to build on a curriculum. It's easier to make this applied for the students when you do it during the school day, because we're doing a newspaper applied for students, and the students who are publishing the newspaper need access to other students, find out what their stories are. In this example, our early newspaper that I had got from another district, it was, as I said, an after-school program. So we had to rely on other after-school clubs, because after school it was our club and other clubs. It was not general student body. But when you don't have that obstacle there, when you do this during the school day, you have greater access to other students. And that's really what we want in something like this, so we can be writing about this. I think each of these newspapers that I've shown you were done by 8, 10-minute, 50-minute sessions. So we could meet once a week or twice a week, but that's 50 minutes for classes, and any subject. And it takes about 80 put out each one of these editions, depending on how many students are involved. We can do this as a pilot program, just coming out of school and do one, or we can do this as an unfolding program in the school year. Newspapers maybe once a month. I think we'll depend on how the formula that we finally work out, whether it's in school or at school, how many students are involved in this program. And I can do it in all 3 schools. I think in high school I have a newspaper, but I'd be happy to do it in middle and elementary school. I don't think I want to try this in any less than 3rd grade. My 3rd grade effort like this is a little bit of work. It was the first job was finding out what they didn't know, and turned out to be quite a lot in terms of writing. A lot of these students had never written a full paragraph before. So 3rd grade, I think, is plenty of challenge. I wouldn't want to go below that. We could put this at Harborside Country. I've already talked to what their rates are. We could do 500 copies of 8 pages for a little more, a little under $300. That's full color. So it's a good rate, but I'm not sure if they said whether or not you have your in-house. I guess you probably do. But if you do the math, I would ask you also, my rate is $40 an hour. And I found that every hour I spend in a classroom, I need an hour outside the classroom. So it's a total of to do the layout, the editing, prep work, that kind of thing. So with, for 16 hours, 8 hours in classroom, 8 hours on my own. And with printing, I think we could do a newspaper non-school, 500 editions, 500 copies, I should say, for less than $1,000. It would be about $900. I can give you my background, but I think you've already got my resume very quickly. I taught journalism at every level, in the 3rd grade to graduate school. I've also worked in newspapers, newsrooms for 35 years. I've always found a way to bring together when I teach, to bring my journalism into the classroom, whether I'm teaching journalism or not. I've launched student newspapers at State University in Young and purchased their newspaper ceased to exist for 2 or 3 years. And they asked me to come in and teach a couple of journalism classes. And in teaching those classes, we were able to also, the main goal is to get the newspaper back on its feet, which we have very efficient. So I've done this before, I love doing it, and I'd love to bring this program to great person.
Great, thank you. I was thinking of the reasons we have to Sean earlier this evening in the schools. Newburyport Youth Service is such a great after-school program. Just for all, that's right. It's 6 to 12, and they get on the bus right to school and go over. Yeah, so we can do over youth. So we even touch any hand on that.
Okay. I've also talked to the PTO. I think it's President, ask for anything?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
not two programs for 1 and 3.
just 1 and 3.
3.
I was,
I'd like to thanks for coming in. I think it's a super interesting idea. We'll be part of this curriculum in the schools. Thank you with any people in the working service. And see how that goes.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, superintendent evaluation discussion.
Guys have, seen both the, executive summary and actually the, summarize with all your answers. I'll be working on the executive summary to share with you, and the listing orders. I found that in my role as sort of piloting all this, to comment from the rating, there were really several themes that emerged pretty quickly. Just about all members noted that COVID presented an extraordinary challenge. And that had a very impact on our ability to pursue a variety of education. Working on emergency, getting up and running on this program, education program. So, so where we did note that we made significant progress on some of the goals, here we very challenged, trying to do significant progress. And I think part of that might be something that everybody knows, and that is the ability of the superintendent to work closely with the staff, to provide strong and responsive educational programming in a variety of modalities, to respond to parents and the community, and continually make adjustments required by the pandemic, and every single one of us think about once you get past sort of the summary of some of this stuff, it's really down to more granular rankings, the elements, in different standards, with greater fluctuation than one stuff. It appeared in something great. In general, they tended to skew towards the belief that under the stewardship of Superintendent Downer, the district has made significant progress, met or exceeded most expectations in many of the categories. And this is discussed a little bit more in the section of some of the ratings. Finally, worth noting that and just talk about some of the ratings themselves. We believe the summative evaluation articulates that the school committee thinks very highly of the work done by the superintendent this past year. His overall summative performance was rated by the committee as falling exclusively between exemplary and proficient. 4 members thought his work was exemplary, 3 members thought he had 2 proficiency. And it is really worth noting that the superintendent is supposed to be able to enviable evaluation. I can walk down and summarize some of these. The first 3 goals, professional practice. 2 tests that he felt he had made significant progress, 3 felt that the best goal was the ones that he exceeded. The second of the 3 goals, the student learning goals. 1 member felt there had been some progress, 2 felt significant, and 3 believed his best goal. The third of 3 goals, the district improvement goals, 2 members noted some progress, 2 saw significant progress, and 2 felt he had met the goals. The board directly assessing the performance of the 4 management standards, didn't confirm their belief that the developer has performed in the proficient and exemplary range. For example, in standard 1 in instructional leadership, 5 members or Mr. Gallagher has achieved efficiency, 1 fell performance on the standards in Denver. For standard 2, the management and operation under the most difficult circumstances possible, the committee was static, evaluating Mr. Gallagher. 1 member noted deficiency and 5 felt that his performance was given to the Standard 3, family community engagement, 4 members saw deficient performance and 2 noted exemplary. Finally, for standard 4, professional culture, 1 member felt his performance was efficient, 5 saw exemplary. For some very specific standards. The standard 1 instruction and leadership, 1 member felt that Mr. Gallagher should be assessed as needs improvement. 5 members saw Mr. Gallagher was proficient. And for voting, that we didn't get full evaluation. I'm not thinking for 7. Then 2, management and operations environment, we felt strongly in Mr. Gallagher's performance example. Overall rate, and 4 members to be working. And you stand 3 family community engagement, 1 member from the Gallagher leadership with 5 members, 5 standard 4 professional culture, individual members considering the section on cultural efficiency. Finally, Gallagher working on diversity and equity issues to exemplary members here, more proficient too. Result in the overall ratings for the standard were 3 proficient and 2 exemplary. There were 5 out of 7 possible responses. And the way that I organized the comments, kind of take every comment that is offered in the evaluation. I have that identified who gave what comments, but for consistency's sake, all the 3 comments were 1 individual, first comment was 1 individual. Through. And I guess the last thing that we had, I'm certainly going to read all the comments. Really not. It's about 10 pages. And the thing that I found interesting was, again, both some of it that definitely good. But the individual rankings in the individual categories, it's an anomaly. People think it's an exemplary, but they think that's kind of the basic. Well, they're true in some of it. So that's an anomaly to me, but the bottom line is that the superintendent has demonstrated efficiency, which is the standard that the state is looking for. And efficient people will definitely doing this very long time. Really quite fast. Remember the evaluation. Strong, comprehensive, and there's no. Thank you. I'm happy to answer your questions. So that's first time I want to do a executive session. So that's going to ask Mr. Mayor questions.
Basically, it's contract.
So, any questions here? And then go into that.
Or that everybody just before just make comments about your own evaluation, like reporting and then.
All right, does anybody have any questions about our packet from board rooms in general? or what we wrote, or how, the executive summary and such. I just want to say thanks to Bruce for this. Anybody else? Have any questions?
The way that easier for us to evaluate how students was because of your wonderful Friday afternoon memos. And what you put in those memos for us are the standards, you identify specifically what you're working on. Certainly, you like to tighten up goals. We talked about that in the there. But I don't know, have you seen this? I would just like to add, details and fundamentals of kids is really about what's happening in different what's happening in the school. There are areas that are always in your evaluation. Or in your mental health, or your emotional, easier for us to try to pull back and pull information out of that, that directly reflects the standards. I, Bruce, we have worked with. You're my staff. And it's just encouraging to see that there's stability, despite all the instability facing with this pandemic. I think that we came in here and did a good job, very quickly, that's where we were. And it's about the changes, had a chance this past year with some long-standing employees and bringing their own. And that always makes a difference for leaders. Build your team after you get a chance to work with people who talk to this. And thank you not for the health advisory team that really understood the challenge by those even though some of those are difficult for but you continue to make contact. That was the most important thing. How long do we can try to figure education always something program fight what was going on, so it really brings things forward. That'd be great comfort on.
There, one thing I'll say to superintendent is the thing that's most important to me is to, put myself up as kind of advocate. I know those excellent, it was Dave's idea that maybe we do kind of like less formal midway, new almost by compiling all those in the area. You know, managed people at record store many years ago, even viewing them many years on the all that we help the house. So that's something like strength that I said in my comments, and I don't remember my exact words, it's communication that is most important to me as a parent of businesses. And as part of the school committee, to be able to know that all gets in touch with me and I, it's beyond individual members' realm, or even approved, then I can say, Lieutenant Gallagher will get back to us. I don't recall anybody saying it's not been involved. I think that's huge, based on what experience in the past. So, you came in midway through your first year, and you're a new guy. People second guess the new guy for whatever reason. I think the way you've done it, and then the first year, kind of, get the lay of the land, and go into year 3, start all of the Gallagher plan. I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to many years of seeing the Gallagher plan.
One of the things that was most extraordinary to me, given that between Paul and I, we negotiated every contract. In the last 20 years. He or I, and when you sat down in your first year to negotiate the contract, it was the most respectful, civil, collaborative negotiation by far. And that was really something that kept me on. Even I thought, negotiations. We didn't have them. I think that it's really telling when we voted several months ago to do the contract for years. One of the first congratulations to God. So that doesn't happen in a lot of years. It just happens. I'm really grateful for the leadership from your staff and from the issues that you help other people. Well, I think I'm happy with it.
I think in looking at the past year and your period of evaluation for you, Superintendent Gallagher, you can't underestimate change the challenges of a teaching and learning environment subject to daily change. And to lead that school district, to keep students and staff safe, which is huge. I mean, before pandemics, safety was like, butter on bread. Put it on you there. It's not that simple in these times. Your sustained communication with families. There's always, with everything that's going on, there's going to be some confusion, some misunderstanding. We made it a priority to try to get it as consistent or clear and understand as possible. And in doing that, you also have created a very professional college culture in the most cohesive way that is committed to high standards, collaboration, continuous learning, and a shared vision. I think every year except last year, and I don't know if we had it last year, I think we did, but I couldn't be there, but I tried to attend the teacher's first day because I'm really interested in what the superintendent says to the teachers. And it just struck me that your work over the past year allows you such an effective message that I basically characterized by when you said that no job is more important than another job. And you really have people working together, and that's really, a great compliment of the leadership, and I'm very thankful to you that have worked so hard and brought people together at this difficult time. Yeah.
I would say that one of my biggest hopes with regards to communication with regards to the team, because we started talking to people before decisions made. I think I said a number of times over the past year or two or three, even since you've been here, that the most contentious discussions we've had have always happened when one group of people have been working on something and then brought it to us for a vote at the end. So I'm happy to actually see on tonight's agenda that you're going to be discussing the curriculum instruction in student life, which I know is something that's been on your been floating around in your head to pull together so that people can have a role in things as they evolve. So just so I'm very happy to see that. I think as a committee, I still think one of the things we need to do is to take the next step, to take this year Friday memos and maybe the evaluation committee for next year and take them on a monthly basis and trying to find a way to track all those standards. Because it's still difficult for us to go through every Friday and start to pick apart. But if on an ongoing basis, we were to say, okay, this was here, this was there, it's applicable notice to ourselves, when it comes back to do a summary, committee members would have an easier time understanding the work we've done for each of the categories. So I think that's the important step. Mr. Knight, I believe you may note that not everybody was able to answer every question. But I think if people could see a compilation of the things that they thought, for example, you did around curriculum, all committee members would say, oh yeah, maybe that's what people are writing about. Or, you know, I'm not really sure about that, but here's some other things that people are that we put in this category over the years. So even if we don't have a direct impact on it, or a direct connection to it, we have a better sense of what's going on. I just think that's an important piece. Take your evaluations to the next step priority. Especially because, like the mayor brought up, I think it's going to be 2 years before this happens again. Now, if you get a certain level, you don't have to do these every year. No.
So, it's required.
Right. I mean, it's always smart to talk about things formatively, but as far as putting together this document, do it every 2 years, you won't even remember what happened 2 years ago, unless there's some sort of tracing device. Happily leave you guys to figure that out.
You may want to think about doing the first year, mid-year, mid-period type of thing. I thought our self-evaluation was a way better tool to actually fill out the, given too many questions, we had a simple version of that. 20 things to read, big halfway period based on trying memos. And none of us did safe. Then we'll have all that to finalize representative for the year official evaluation.
I think it's also too, like, as the mayor brought up, as the committee's been getting better over the past couple of years, and I think you guys will continue to get better in the next few years at setting goals and keeping goals in front of your minds as you're doing your work. It'll be easier to attach self-evaluations and superintendent ratings to something. Both in the being on a scenario list.
I work with students all over the state. I'm not surprised to see some of my comments here that there's a lot. We really just can't go to this. But looking at this and thinking ahead, it's really around our initiative plan. It's forward to not talking about leading us through, some of those people, but you leading us through the next 5 years.
There's nothing else? Should we end this tonight? This is Gallagher, yes. Man,
Yes, no, first of all, I just want to thank all the community members, for their input and feedback. Really appreciate it. This has been, I think, the best, time of my professional career. I think the Newburyport community is a special community, where we all really pull together. I can't say enough about the faculty, support staff, our families, our students, and the committee itself here. I think over the past 4 years, we've been through a lot, but I don't think we ever lost sight of what's important. I think the school committee, our leadership team, and all of the educators within the airport, we make decisions that's best for students and families, and all kinds of decisions are not always popular. But I think in the long run, that's not, and I can't, once again, I can't, every day I wake up and I come to Newburyport, I'm just so honored to represent this community and honored to represent the city of Newburyport. And there's not, I think when I self-reflect all the time, even when things go well, I can always make improvements. And I don't think there's a critic out there that's more critical than myself. And I think, as Mr. Raven said, every day we want to continue to improve, to be the best of the best. And that's our ultimate goal. And the only way we're going to get there is if we stay together, we work together, and then we do what's best for our students and families on a daily basis. So I'm just honored and just taken back by your comments, flattered, but by no means am I going to sit back and rest. We're doing well, we can always do better. So I just want to thank you all for your support and thank our teachers, faculty, administrators, nursing staff, and everybody within our organization for all they do on a daily basis. So I'm very, very proud to do that. The organization. Thank you.
Great. So we are now going to retire to accept something, and we will be returning to the session. Contract negotiation. I know, you all call.
Mayor Holiday,
Yes.
Mr. Callahan,
Yes.
Menon,
Yes.
Mocknight,
Yes.
Balding,
Yes.
Mr. Reardon,
Yes.
Mr. Cole.
Yes.
We're going to move clean up on these Zooms. So people
Was
know
there
that we
a
are.
motion? And who seconded it?
Mayor, do you want to go through this?
Yes, I think we will everyone, and we met on the superintendent's contract in executive session, and based on what you heard in terms of feedback, I think from Mr. Menon and all of us, about our support of the superintendent's performance, we have agreed to extend his existing contract another 2 years. So that brings him to a full 5-year contract. And his current salary is $187,949. Bill, I understand there's a $21 discrepancy with what he's currently making, and I appreciate you check on that. Not in his favor, I understand, but I'm not quite sure how that happened.
He's sitting his own, it's the gala.
And we voted to provide a 3% contract increase for FY 23. Bring the salary up to $193,587. And similarly, a 3% increase in the final year of the contract. That would be based on your. Motion, do I have a second?
I need a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Reardon,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Callahan,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yeah.
and Mayor Holiday.
Yes. All right, well, that's exciting. And now, superintendent report. Hold the mic closely. Now, hear you.
Bill takes care of that, we'll buy some coffee on the way to work tomorrow. Thanks, Bill. So we have just the start of school, and as you all know, there's so much preparation and lots to talk about, but I'll try to go quickly and highlight some real key items to our position. So our first 2 days, professional development for the staff, was very busy. After our district opening, all staff and PK to 12 participated in the portrait of the graduate and reimagined strategic planning process, very similar process we used with the school committee. Received a lot of positive feedback from our faculty and support staff being part of that process. It was a great way to kick off our strategic planning. And each building principal did reflect feedback from all of our educators. Staff PD also included mandated trainings, advisory, PBIS planning, and early curriculum assessment and instruction work. Educators also used this time to set up learning spaces and review student learning plans. So those 2 days for the teachers are very valuable in opening the school. Our grade 1 to 12 students began school on Wednesday, September 1st across the district. The first day was upbeat and energetic. I got to ride the bus again, and my bus was a couple minutes late, but that's all right. I got to use the CD on the bus. I'll let them know we're coming. Thanks to our administrative teams at all 4 schools. Transportation, arrival, dismissal ran as smoothly as possible, especially in the beginning. We have more bus riders this year than obviously we did during the pandemic. The new smart routes to school and sidewalk and road work has really provided, providing the crossing lights, has been a huge benefit for our walkers and safety throughout the city, especially in the area of High Street. We're in our second year of our later start for the Knox and high school. The schedule originally planned to accommodate the later start at the high school has been implemented. With the addition of some shared explore staff last year, the Knox moment shared schedules continue to work well at that school. We're also excited to launch a full world language program in grades 6 to 8 with additional, of course, Spanish in every team. Students are on their way to what we hope will be a pathway to biliteracy in the future. Mr. Wolf kicked off his first 2 days at NHS with class-by-class assemblies, his own rendition of, I guess, the music committee. We'll have Mr. Wolf come in to dance to that. Students were excited to be back in the building, continuing NHS focus on social emotional learning. Students started their first 2 days with their advisory groups. Our athletics, NHS athletics is well underway. We have over 50%, 412 athletes participating in athletic programs. This is the highest participation rate we've had in years. We also look forward to launching the other extracurriculars this week, all the different clubs and programming throughout the district. Our non-interim administrators, Mr. Marcos and Ms. Gallegos, also welcome the students back using the advisory model. Similar to the high school, students in the non-advisories got to know each other and build team building activities with the staff and expectations through activities and assemblies. The NOC advisory teachers will also be introducing student data starts and goal setting in the weeks to come for the students. Continue work done in the past, Principal Rossi guided enrollment staff in launching their back to school PBIS lessons. In addition to getting back into the swing of content area lessons, staff are providing some early lessons on school expectations and a positive behavioral approach. At the Brez, our little students, pre-KK, will start tomorrow morning, September 8th, so parents are watching out. We'll be riding a kindergarten bus tomorrow, so hopefully I won't scare the kindergarten children. I'll try to be as friendly as possible. Grades 1 to 3 students who are back in the building are already learning their classroom routines and had a great time on the playground, enjoying lessons in all subject areas. PBIS lessons will be continuing this week also. I also want to credit our nursing team once again. We got a standing O and during our welcome back to school and well deserved. Nurse leader Lauren McDonald is working closely with the school nurses to implement testing plans. She continues to communicate with parents, answering questions, providing updated information on our protocols. We'll add a COVID-19 tracker to the district website early next week. If you recall, we had that tracker last year. We didn't think we'd be needing it again, but we'll be updating that so people can see the numbers within the school system. Although we continue to wear masks and follow health protocols, our students and staff are enjoying being back in the buildings, returning to a more normal school routine. Our central office team has been in buildings across the district supporting staff, along with launching our educational goals and meeting with our administrative teams. I also want to remind everyone out there that are listening, we have a vaccination clinic, thanks to Lauren McDonald. It will be at the North, September 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. And that's geared obviously for students that are 12 and older, and also teachers and faculty, and also the community. So anyone who has not been vaccinated at this time, September 9th will be a mobile vaccination clinic at the North Library. Parking lot, 5 to 8. And we'll also be sending out a reminder to everybody. That's a back to school update. Yes.
We have updated, vaccinated, numbers of students and teachers.
We do. I don't have those with me, but I know Lauren's on. Yes, we have our network. Get that information to the school committee, and then can also probably put in communication at the end of this week. Our CISL meeting, and that stands for Curriculum Instruction and Student Life Ad Hoc Committee. So as Ms. Lockhart has said, we've been talking about this for a few years now, how to really provide information in a robust way to the community regarding curriculum instruction and student life on a regular basis. This summer, Assistant Superintendent Ippolito kind of took that vision of the curriculum ad hoc committee and kind of brought it to fruition. She reached out to members within the school community and has formulated the ad hoc CISL meeting. And really the primary goal is to focus on curriculum instruction and student life. What we're also going to have as part of this is this ad hoc committee will also have minutes. Ms. Julie Zelensky, the administrative assistant, will be taking notes and minutes for these meetings, and which will also make as part of the school committee package. There was an introductory meeting on 8/24, and the minutes for that meeting will be included in our next school committee business meeting. So some tentative agenda items that we have. September, we'll be focusing on strategic planning, updates on start of school, mentoring training, literacy camp, and really we want to spotlight highlights in schools and student work. That's going to be a common theme at each month's meeting. October, we had MCAS data, curriculum programming, and once again, we'll be spotlighting schools and student work. November, school improvement plan, presentations, professional development updates, highlighting once again schools and student work and students. In December, we'll have December, January is our literacy focus and focus on all the literacy work that's going on throughout the district. So we think that this ad hoc committee will be open to the public, be a public meeting. People can attend. This we feel will allow us to really give strong presentations and other presentations that we can just really display a lot of the great work that's going on in the classroom community. So as we all know, during the business meetings that we have in the committee of the whole, it's hard to fit all of that in our business meetings. But this ad hoc committee will provide another format for people to come out and really highlight the school's curriculum and what the teachers are doing. And also the goal is, if there is a presentation that is very important or that school may feel they want to be part of the business, we will bring that. And then also Mr. Polito's report will also be following up on the minutes that the committee of the whole will be getting. More of a summary. That's our committee work right now for CISO. We've offered it to a lot of administrators, a lot of the assistant principals. So the committee right now is made up of Jamie Sokolowski, Mike Testa, Dr. Abrams, Ellie Burns is our new elementary math coach. Colby Keith, middle school student, Olivia Ambrosio, high school student, Dominic Denasio is our middle school student, Amanda Boogley is a parent rep, Andy Agmont is our community rep, and then also we reached out to Mr. Menon and Ms. Spalding, who aren't busy running for re-election and have some time. But this is open to everybody to come out and see what we're doing in curriculum. So I think I'm really excited about that. I want to thank Mr. Polito for putting this all together in a short time, and she's done a tremendous job. I also want to provide you all. I think Mr. Polito did this in, I don't know, this is what, 24 hours since she left the job. So just really proud of the efforts that she's made. So very organized, but we have all of our meetings and dates throughout the district right here on the calendar. You all. So under a lot of these meetings, the ones, leadership, probably not, but the other ones. That's my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. You have any questions about that? I can give you
We had talked quite some time ago about school committee meetings, when principals or anybody else give a formal presentation, that we would like those presentations to be made public and put on the website in some sort of organized fashion. So we can move forward with that idea. We haven't got there yet, and then also take these presentations and make them public goods. We love that standpoint. They're not getting into like a secondary diffused lens. That would be my first thought. And I guess at some point we'll still need to talk about it. I know it came up with policy, but some way to get a two-way set of communication going about. It's not great, but it's another that you have people present with from the school district, not hear what families or students are thinking about and what their experiences with school. I think that's a for speaker. We have it from today.
And that's like, probably this for long Zoom. Where?
Yes, so we were talking about, I agree with Ms. Kaiser, in really developing this and having it, communicating it out, to the families, as part of our website, making that a lot easier, reading the minutes. And then also possibly working, with the hub here, and videotape some of those presentations from those meetings too. So, I agree with that.
Any questions? We'll do that. Hearing none.
Is there anything else the school committee's website for these will work?
Every chance. Everything.
Absolutely.
It's just. keep finding them.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Thank you. Yeah. All the- our work, but it's really not.
Correct, and I think that that's been a great transition. Ms. Furlong is really kind of, I think the whole first month has been looking at all of our technology from the websites, programming, purchases, and really just understanding, getting a handle on that. But I know she's been working really hard on the website, working with the vendor and making things a lot easier for parents and families. Maybe Ms. Furlong can give a little presentation.
All right, is there any new business? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.